What's going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning to another episode of Right on Cue Podcast. As always, I am your host, Logan Chestnut with Small Batch Barbecue. Joining me tonight, as always, is my barbecue brother, Mr. AJ Johnson of the Norella Barbecue Team. Mr. AJ, how are we doing, sir?
Doing well, man. Doing well. Just looking forward to some more competition, trying to get back on track. What about you?
God, fuck. Sorry, I'm already started. man, no, man, my butt still hurts from last weekend, man.
Dude, that was brutal, man.
Me and you both looking at each other like, what the?
Yeah, it's like, we both cooked so good. We thought, they got the first place. It was either one of us, but nope, it was wrong.
No, man. Devian took that one, didn't
he? Chicken, he took first place chicken.
Yeah, Devian, but Hunt put it on ribs.
Yeah,
I called it though. I looked at Hunt, and that man's on fire.
Yeah,
he is on fire. He's a hell of a cook though, man. So you can't say
he is for sure.
No, they're dude. I looked at my rib scores. I was like, oh Lord. I looked like Ray Paul after Tyson got done with them, man. It was rough.
Rough, just been beat up all the way around.
So bad, dude. It's like humbling. Like, can you have a slump and you're only 3 comps in? Like, I feel like I'm in a slump already. Like, I called was messaging like every pro we ever had on the show. I was like, hey, I need some tips on the ribs because mine are hot garbage. Apparently,
man, best thing to do is just keep on cooking, man, and try your best.
Yeah, that's what everybody tells me though, man. But man, you went from rib team of the year to the chicken man here this year, man. You're like swinging and miss on ribs, and now you're just killing it in chicken. What happened? Man, what's going on?
I don't know, man. That's where it happens sometimes. Judges just like that chicken, but I'm trying to get ribs back on track. We got a 3rd place rib, first of the year. Two contests in. We'll get back at it.
I know. I try to remind myself. I know. I try to remind myself. I'm like, man, it's early, and I have been. You always talk about the table of death, and it's not an excuse. I mean, it is what it is, and just sport, it's all subjective. But it's like, man, I feel like every contest I've been to so far, it's like my table has produced like next to last every time.
Yeah, man, it's all about luck on the table, man. That's all. All of us can cook. Just keep on trying your best. Man, it'll come around for sure.
All right, you trying to give me a pep talk? Talk me off the ledge? I mean, I'm gonna jump off the hair. I'm gonna Harry carry myself. Just no.
Don't do it.
No, man, that hurt me whenever Slaw said, "Who are you?" And I'm like,
"Oh, that is."
I'm like, I GC'd your contest last year. You better.
Who
are you? Oh
man, yeah.
Dude, talk about some humble pie, man. I've been eating a lot of that here lately.
Who is this guy? Like, you don't know me.
Who is this giant? What up, sir? What's up, sir? Man, no, dude. So we are continuing. It's actually the last week, man. It's flown by, man. We've had some great guests, but we are continuing our Texas Appreciation Month.
For sure, man.
It's been awesome. I've been excited. I love learning about CBA, and I'm curious to see if some famous person does a clean sweep for a favorite restaurant.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, you talk about all these Texas guys, and they say you got to hit up certain restaurants. I'm not going to say it, but certain restaurants.
We can't muddy the water. We can't muddy the water. We got to get an honest opinion from them. But no, man, we'll see, man. We got a banger tonight, man. We have man, he's in charge of this little company called Texas Oil Dust. They make rubs, brines, sauces, all the good jazz. I hear, like every good Texan, he knows a thing or two about brisket.
There you go.
I heard the rumor. I feel like everybody we got on here, like, I want to eat all their briskets.
Yeah,
I'm like, I will trade you some. I will trade you some Kentucky Fried Chicken or Nashville Hot Chicken, your choice, for some Texas brisket, because I feel like I'm missing out.
We'll pass on a Kentucky Fried Chicken. Let's get the Nashville Hot.
No, man, authentic Kentucky Fried Chicken, my friend. I got you.
All right.
But no, man, I put some of that Big Bob's white sauce on it, man. That stuff was fire.
Hey, man, we went to Big Bob this weekend. The best wings I done had,
dude,
by far. And the turkey was good, solid.
Daniel, if you're watching, you're a liar. I'll say it. That stuff was delicious. Stuff was, dude. I mean, everything was good. Minus what was that one? What was the one thing we didn't like?
It was
turkey
the chicken.
Was fire too. Yeah, the half chicken, but the wings and the turkey slices were phenomenal.
Yeah, so brisket was good. Yeah, chicken could have been a little bit more juicy, but it's hard to kill all of it.
You got to kill all that salmonella. That's that secret seasoning. That's salmonella. Oh,
you like that, don't you?
Somebody's got to cheer for him. Nah, man. All right, man. Without further ado, man, let's bring on our guest tonight. What do you say?
All right, sounds good, brother.
All right, here we go. What? There he is. He got a Kentucky howdy right here. Howdy doody. That's that.
What's up, bitches?
Kentucky brown water right there, baby.
Hey,
there you go.
That's some good shit right there. I'm not gonna lie. I drink a lot of it.
Drink a lot, yeah. Yeah,
I figured there must be enough water consumption in that bottle right there to take care of my daily limits.
Jim Beam, it kills all ailments, and my ancestors. That's what we sold on the Western Trail. The snake water, aka bourbon.
if you're feeling bad, if you're hurting, it's going to take it away and make you do stupid shit.
That's right. I mean, I can do stupid stuff on my own, but it certainly helps.
It just helps to just kind of get you over the hump.
It makes me feel prettier. That's all I'm gonna say. I feel better looking and a better dancer whenever I consume some bourbon.
Yeah, I have witnessed that firsthand.
Dude, I do that crap at 6 a.m. though, man. I'm like out of my trailer, like turning up some. Who knows what I'm playing? I mean, I'll do everything from old school hip hop to ABBA to Hank Williams to Hank Sr. I mean, I play the full spectrum.
Yeah. I think next competition we had, I think I'm gonna request not to be beside you anymore. Yeah.
Well, we need to not be next to each other, man, because we are bad luck.
Or you're gonna have to just go in there and cut the cord,
Yeah, we gotta do something.
That's what he does. I tried to sabotage him, though, man. We ran generators last weekend, and I turned my generator towards his generator for the CO2, and it killed his.
It did, man.
He must be running a Predator.
Back. It is. Both of us are. I was like, man, my generator running. I'm like, that ain't Logan.
I wish I could claim I did that on purpose, but I didn't. But next time I will. 100%. No, Aaron. Man, thank you so much for coming on the show, brother, man. I know you're a busy man with winning all them awards back there. I mean,
it's just a lot of fun every weekend, man.
Winning's
try to have some fun.
Yeah, winning's fun. I mean, I hear that's the rumor out there. I haven't experienced it myself, but it's a good rumor going around.
It can get funner every time you go, and it can get very disappointing when you don't. So just stay humble and smile, I guess, and just go to the next one.
That's right.
That's right, man. I would love to get to the stage where I'm staying humble. Now, I'm at the point. Oh my gosh, I love when I get phone calls when I'm on my show. It's awesome. Good times. No, can everybody hear me? AJ,
yeah.
Smiling. All right, give me a smile so I know what you. Oh shit! All right, there we go. No, man. So. Aaron, tell me, our guest like a little bit about you, like the Texas Oil Dust 411.
Man, there's not much to say. I mean, kind of a small company out here in Midland, Texas. We're in the kind of the furthest elbow of the Permian Basin, oil capital of the state, and probably the world. But man, just a little catering company back in 2012, kind of landed in my lap and did a few little jobs here and there, and oil field related, cooking some ribeyes, and made a seasoning one day called Oil Dust, and it used to be called the steak seasoning back then. And then we branched over from steaks. We're doing 400 or 500 a week to catfish and hush puppies, French fries, and then pork chops, and we just kind of branched it out. But I used the same seasoning on it, and started giving it away. And about 15, I put it in a bottle to give back to charity. And once we kind of started that right there, I realized, hey, it's kind of catching on, and made a little money off of it, and put a little investment into it, and kind of branched it from there. So it's always been a surefire, seasoning that's kind of a go-to all-purpose. And a couple of years ago, we changed it to Old Dust All-Purpose Rub, just to kind of change the name and make it a little bit more outside the box. People wouldn't, feel that it was just a one insight. Kind of, if you say like, pork rub, that people only use it for pork. They don't realize that
Right.
pork rub is good on beef and chicken and poultry and seafood. And so we kind of changed it, little description there, but. As we kind of moved on and grew into, to some separate stores and kind of got our feet wet, started making a couple different seasonings, and just kind of out of the blue in the mornings, you know how it is. You go to your trailer and, crap, I didn't get this, or I didn't get that, or shoot, I didn't make that, and you go to your buddy's trailer next door and you're trying to borrow something. Hey, you got this, or do you have that? And a couple of my rubs were kind of created about 5:30 in the morning before I was doing ribs, or before I was doing chicken. And I'd use it that day and I'd hit a first place, and I'd be like, wow, I just remember what the rub tasted like. It was smoky, it was sweet, it was a little bit of spice, a little this, little that. So I had all this McCormick seasoning in my cabinet. I'm just doing, Mr. Wizard, and that's how it kind of got started. And I started using it, and people started asking what I was using. So I gave them some, they started beating me, and man, I just kind of, I mean, it's just out of necessity, right? And, next thing you know, I'm like, okay, I got 4 rubs, and then I started doing injections. I was making my injection liquid. It was a liquid base, on the stove every day, and then I figured out how to make it into a powdered form. And once we kind of got the powdered form and got it right, then I have injections, and just kind of branched on, man. Just kind of, the comp scene has been wonderful to us, and just taking Texas Oil Dust from just a small backyard guy doing things and catering a little bit to a competition realm and a backyard realm, and restaurants, getting into the whole restaurant vibe, and getting people to use it. So it's just kind of, it's been a good run so far, and a good journey.
Good deal.
But man, you can't shake it. I get to do what I do every day, and I get to eat, sleep, and breathe barbecue, and teach people how to cook, and cook myself. And we're 7 days a week. I got a pit rolling 7 days a week somewhere.
There you go, man. Speaking of that, man, that's like such a dream of mine to be able to just cook barbecue every day, man. That is just awesome. But speaking of pits, man, like what type of pits you cook on for everyday use or comp use? Can you kind of explain that a little bit?
Yeah, definitely. So at the restaurant, the Half Acre, it's owned by Midland Meat Company here in Midland. We just purchased our 3rd Old Hickory. So I have an Old Hickory EDX. So we just got our 3rd one be here tomorrow. We've outgrown, we've grown so much that, and we're trying to get ahead of ourselves a little bit so that we're not caught with our pants down. We maximize our units, and so I have 2 Old Hickory EDXs in the back right now that are running. They're running right now. Actually, I'll put, as soon as we get done off of this, I'll go put briskets on and start doing the night watch. Getting things ready for tomorrow. And then we have a 1,000-gallon offset we use as well. And then we have our 3rd Old Hickory coming in tomorrow afternoon. So I have those 4 smokers, or 3 smokers right now that we have at the restaurant that we use 6 days a week. And then competition-wise, I'm a drum cook. A lot of people guys have seen my drum, and I've got one drum. I had a drum company. It was called the Texas Trash Can. I started building back in 16, 17, and did about 3 years. Built about 90 drums. My back hurt so bad, before I had my back surgery, that I just couldn't do it no more. So I have my drums back there, but I've got one particular that I've caught it on fire. I burned it up. I know it's hot when the powder coat's still flaking off, right? So
there you go.
And I run my drum hot. I run it wide open. I don't slow it down. I let her go. Altitude, elevation, humidity, air flare, barometric, whatever you want to call it, and the charcoal, whatever she runs. It could be 700 one day. It could be 550 the next. So I run it wide open, and I don't bat an eye about it. And so I've got a drum. I've got a couple of Rectech 340s that I use, small tailgaters, that I love to use. And I've got my Jambo. I've got a 30-inch Jambo in my trailer. So those are the smokers that I run, and they're my gals on the weekend. So
there you go.
Hey, you can never have too much, man.
That's right, man.
I'll tell you that you got to have a pellet grill. I mean, no matter what size it is, it's always good to have it because you get in a bind. You might be taking 10,000 foot elevation and you just need a little extra heat. You just slap it on there and you'll get where you need to get. And that's why drums are so good high on the elevation. So, if the Jambo's not struggling but it's not quite keeping up, I can go right to the drum or go on that pellet grill and get my turn-ins done. KCBS. When you're turning in by yourself, you don't have time for mistakes and you don't have time to be late. So. You've got to hit that window, and that's kind of my setup for trial and error and persistence.
Yeah, man, that's definitely hits close to home. And this weekend, Logan can tell you, man, I was fighting that drum smoker all day. Wind was rough. I mean, I just couldn't get up the temp. I had that pellet grill, running. So I wrapped them ribs, put them on there. I was good to go. So, man, it pays to have a pellet grill on your trailer for sure.
Amen, dude. Let me do this question that's in every barbecue forum, I think, in America, and it's the most heated thing ever. It's like you talk about somebody about religion. So pellet grills. Do you think pellet grills can pump out good barbecue as offsets or other style grills, or do you think they're trash like some of these other purists say?
No. So I run Rectex. I'm a Rectec ambassador, but I like a Rectec. They're built like a tank, but I have seen guys on pit bosses, just Robert Smith, man, that guy can cook some food just like anybody else. And I think he's a 5-time world champion now, but man, I'm going to be honest with you. I've watched pellet grills do just as good as an offset smoker and as a drum. Matter of fact, I mean, if you start looking at who does what, and you start looking at the deal, I know pellet grills don't get the top level. Like if you said who are the top 20 teams and what are they cooking on? A pellet grill may not be in that top 10 or 12, but there's going to be 1 or 2 in there. And even if you finish off, so are you talking about finishing, or are you talking about the actual raw meat on the pit? I mean, if it's in your arsenal, yes, I think it can work. But if you're smoking your meats raw and you're going to a deal, it gives you great color, it gives you great tenderness. A lot of places don't like a lot of smoke, real heavy smoke. So therefore, the pellet grill is that light kiss of smoke. And I think if you run your operation right, man, you'll get just as good a food off of that as you will anything.
See, I've always said personally, so I'm a big Lone Star fanboy. Lone Star Grills. I don't know if you've heard of them. They're out of Texas. Yeah. So I'm a huge Lone Star fan, and I recently just ordered. Well, it's going to be shipped here soon. Their new cabinet pellet smoker, which I'm going to be running on my rig, which I'm excited about. But I think for smoke consistency, I mean, I've cooked on everything under the rainbow, and I thoroughly enjoy using my pellet smokers. For ribs, especially like chicken. I mean, I don't think there's no better chicken cooked than on a canned chicken. Drum chicken. I mean, I think they make some of the best chicken out there. But for ribs, I think pellet smokers put some of the prettiest ribs out there.
There is no burn spots, right? There's no dark spots. It's a beautiful mahogany red. You go for if you're going off a color. I think a pellet grill does a wonderful job. I have a mix, man. I like to use my drum and my offset, and I like to do a little flavor, right? I mean, if I go into a contest, let's pick a neutral point, right? Say we're, from where you guys are to here, say we stop in Louisiana or Arkansas or Oklahoma, Kansas, whatever. So we're all kind of meeting up somewhere.
Sure.
I think that at the end of the day, it's drum country. I mean, there's a lot of that northern area drum country. So if you have a lot of drums out there, I like to mix my drum and my offset. I like to put a little drum flavor with my offset flavor, and that way I don't stand out too much, and I don't get lost in the mix. And that way the flavors are still kind of there. So I think pellet grills itself cooks a really mean rib. My Jambo to this day still cooks the best pork I've ever eaten. I mean, it's just the way it comes across, and it's not super smoky. It's just nice and flowy, and it just kind of runs. But all of my big brisket calls, all of my awards and stuff, I mean, it's going to be on my Jambo. It's always going to be, I think that just, I know that drum cookers get it, but I'm just an offset smoker with that.
I think with like I said, chicken 100% on drums. That's the best one out there. Ribs, I think pellet, but I mean you can go offset too, or drums. I mean all three, but I preferably lean towards pellet. But for brisket and the bigger meats, I mean I do think, like I said, cans are making me dizzy. Cans
Well, I'm
are.
sorry. I'm making sure I'm on Wi-Fi because it's like we're getting Walmarted here.
Oh yeah, the audio. But no, the offset for brisket though, I think specifically for brisket, it's the best way, best grill out there for it.
I think it's solid. I think every protein has an ace in the hole that you can cook it on. 100%. I think chicken on the drum or a kettle. Depending on how depending on what
Those
type of chicken you're
bulldogs are
cooking.
good.
Oh, 100%. I mean, that matter of fact, last year, 23 Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, we cooked on a bullseye, and then we tied for second place. So
There you go.
I mean, chicken was. I think I've got third chicken overall. We tied for second. I mean, it did a great job. A drum is just a banger, for the chicken. So I like that flavor, and I'll continue using my drum for that flavor.
I don't blame you, man.
Yeah.
No, so I know you said, I mean, Texas oil dust. I mean, you just think naturally that you used to work in the oil fields, correct? Or in the oil industry? Yeah.
Yeah, oil industry broke out, driving a truck for a fuel service out on the rigs, and then, kind of jumped over to did a little stint at Home Depot for about 3 years just because I had a CDL, trying to provide for the family, young couple and 3 young girls trying to pay the bills, and one of our family members called us up and said, you want to go to be a roughneck. I said, well, what is that? And they kind of told me about it. So my father-in-law at the time, before he passed away, he said, "Oh, you got to have this, got to have this, got to have that." So I got all this stuff geared up and went to the rigs, and I stayed there for 19, 20 years, easy. And I mean, but of course I moved up the ladder. I became I worked my way up from the lowest man on the rig to the driller, to the tool pusher, to the company man, to the drilling superintendent. I mean, I just it was something that if I could touch it, I could fix it. If I could work it, I could pull it back. So it was the best job I've ever had until cooking barbecue for what I do now. So
there you go.
I mean, it's just you can't beat working with 5 other guys, and you can cuss, spit, chew, piss outside. It doesn't matter what you do. You just you're on location, long ways away, and nobody cares. So
that's right.
It's a great job as long as you and your guys get along. It's a good job to work. And you get paid good. So. I was oil field when we made the rub. We were driving one day down the road to meet the guy to design the label for our first bottle, and or even my logo. And I was like, man, we're from Texas. I'm in the oil industry, and everybody calls seasonings dust. So what do you think about Texas oil dust? And my wife said, hey, I like it. It sounds good. It kind of rings, and it's kind of long. It's not as short as some of the names out there, but it fit me and put my signature on it. And I was kind of well ahead of my time on that because no one was really doing that. And so we did that, and we became an LLC and got USTPO'd and trademarked and all that good stuff. So 24 years active in the oil field. So that's my background.
Well, that's cool, man. Well, no, but you jumping into barbecue. So how long you been competing in barbecue? What gets you going, like competing in barbecue?
We did, we cooked as a family. I didn't know anything about competitions, 12, 13. My brother-in-law was doing them, and he's like, you ought to build a pit. So we built a pit, and, I built that pit, but I used it for some catering stuff. And that was about it, just some small, feeding the masses. And about 14, we did a couple with the family. The whole family would show up, just like any other cook-off. And so I did a couple of them. In 15, we did about 8 of them. And it was just family events. We go out of town, we pick a trip and say, hey, there's a cook-off that weekend in Corpus Christi. Let's go down to the coast and let's do that cook-off. We'll come back on Tuesday. I'll go back to work Wednesday because I work 2 weeks on, a week off. And so I get a full week. So as soon as I get home Wednesday, Thursday morning, we'd pie out. And so we just make the whole family time we could. And then 16 though, I told my wife, I said, this is getting way too expensive to not get anything back or any kind of calls whatsoever. I said, I need to make a decision. We either got to take a class and learn something and try to make this a little bit more fun and better, or I'm going to quit wasting this money. I mean, this is I ain't going to put $1,500 for a family trip every weekend and not get anything back. So 16 we started, and I haven't looked back since.
There you go.
Yeah, man.
So
I bought a little online DVD class from Cosmo back in 16. He had 3 or 4 DVDs: brisket, ribs, chicken, pork, for $99. I said, hell, you can't go wrong with this. I bought it, and I bought all of his stuff, and I was like, let me just see what this is all about. Went out I had my laptop in my pickup. My buddy Tommy Smith, he was over there, and he was, I mean, man, you couldn't shake a stick at him without him winning. I mean, he was just something else. And one of the top cooks in West Texas, and I watched my laptop, and I rewind and go back, and then I followed the program and got my first reserve grand the very next week, and
pay for itself right there.
That was it. And after that, I was like, okay, there's something to this. And so I practiced those routines until I ran out of stuff. When I ran out of stuff, I created something. When I created something, my palette, my profile, I just kind of kept creating, and then we just took it off from there.
Good deal.
I got.
So man, living in Texas, do you cook mostly CBA or KCBS, or can you explain that to us a little bit?
Yeah, hell yeah, we cook the whole alphabet soup out here, man. There you go. I mean, we cook KCBS, CBA, IBCA. What did I say? KCBS, LSBS, CTBA. I mean, I've only done one Central Texas Barbecue Association. I can never find their cook-offs, and I would love to go to them. That's Danny Mikes, by the way, Danny and Corey Mikes. That's their organization, and I never get the chance to find their, where they're having their cook-offs at. But I have cooked a few of those. It's been a long time, but I've cooked them. So, man, I'm not prejudiced about any of them. Here's how I decide. I only cook state championships. I don't cook, and every now and then I will cook a state championship, or I won't cook one. It'll just be a regular contest. Some don't make, some don't make the 25 or the 50 teams. Sometimes our options are very limited, to how many state championships we have. So I look at the schedules, and I just say, okay, all the organizations, what's the closest state championship? And I start marking them off. I just start doing it. And I won't pass one to get to one unless I know that contest is not going to make the amount of teams required, right? So I'll get there, and they say it's 4 hours away. I'm not going to pass one for 7 hours to get to one that's 4 hours. So I'll go to the one that's 4 hours first, and if they don't have enough teams, I'll drink a beer, sit outside, talk with everybody, and then I'll load up, and I'll just keep driving until I get to that contest that's going to make the team. So I don't have to do that very often, but I do have to do that. So
that's Texas AJ right there.
There you go.
But I'm not gonna pass one up to get to one. I'm gonna go to the first state championship I can get into that's going to be a qualifier.
Well, that's like Bill said. Bill said he drives 30, 40 minutes and can hit 5 contests. It's crazy.
He can. Yeah. My average drive on a Friday is 7 hours.
Man.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're still doing it, man.
I mean, it takes me 9 hours to get to Bill's house.
I got you. So you were talking about classes a second ago, and I know like AJ's taking classes, and he's taught classes, and I've tried to take as many classes as I can. Tell the cooks and stuff like that who do you think classes are an essential part of a cook's journey to kind of shorten that learning curve?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, a guy can say, I don't need a class. I can cook barbecue and go out there and win his first contest. I've seen it done. The very first contest, they win it, and then they don't hit a lick for 3 years. So, but at the same time, you got a guy who's been cooking and never won one, 2 or 3 years into it, never won one. And so, even though you haven't taken a class, most guys are still relying on friends like you and AJ. They're still relying on guys like you to, hey man, you're doing really good in ribs, like you were talking about earlier. You're doing good in ribs. I need a little rib help. And that's a class. No matter how you want to look at it, you just got help from somebody that you trust, or that you look up to, or that you rely on. That's a class. Okay, no matter what. So anytime you ask for advice, is a class. So But at the same time, it's not something you went and paid for, and it's not a full deal because he may just give you a little tidbit of information. But if you go pick somebody who's been doing it, and your first time out of the box, you may not want to go to one of the biggest names out there. You may want to go to a guy that's putting some on because he's done fairly decent and he just wants to put a class on, raise a little money up. You may go find that because he has techniques and tricks that might just help get you started because maybe you're just missing that first 2 or 3 steps because you didn't quite know that was something you needed to do. So class is something that people really need to focus on, and I do one at least once a year. If I haven't done one at one a year, I'll make sure I go to one the second year. I do one at least every 2 years because, like school teaching, teachers have to go to take classes. They have to go take UIL stuff and courses because they have to learn how to teach a kid better and students better. And there's some ideas that some lady in Timbuktu, Texas, is teaching some lady up in Kansas. They network, right? And that's what we're doing as cooks. We're networking. We're trying to make a better profile. And if you don't get some help from somebody, then you will fall behind. There's not very many guys that can do this on their own from the get-go and never take a class ever. There's just not that many guys that be successful at this.
Right.
What is successful? I consider it breaking even.
Sure. That's like gambling. You know, anytime you can break even, it's a good day.
That's right.
I mean, speaking of like classes, like I said, I've taken classes from some of the biggest names out there and whatnot, and also classes. You yourself have one of my favorite classes that I've just started doing is online classes, and you got some online classes going on. You tell us about that, how that experience was going down there. Was Louisiana, isn't that where he's out of?
Yes, sir. I went down to Mike Steele's place and did the Barbecue Chance Academy back in February. Man, it was a great time. I was honored to be asked, and after we hit that first place brisket in San Antonio last year in 23. We, I think there's like 280 plus teams there. Got that reserve grand, and Mike's calling me like, "Hey man, you're on fire. Can we do something?" He's been asking me a couple of years, like we kind of talked about it, but never really put nothing together. And Mike made the call, and we talked about it, and we put a date together. It was 2 days of solid filming. Right, it was like 12 hours. I think it was about 10 hours on day one, and like 13 on day two. So I'm a little nervous, but you're trying to cook a competition routine on a timeline that fits, the cuts and the takes and the talking and everything that you're trying to do. So you're trying to put all that together, and sometimes it works out the best way, sometimes it ain't quite the best, but the product gets across, So you're trying your hardest to make the best looking chicken and the best looking brisket, but it doesn't always work that way, and that's what competitions are, right? You have to make it work. And so we did that, and it was kind of a new thing. But the online class is great. A lot of guys are doing it, and that you can tell when a lot of guys are taking the classes, whether it's mine or Bill's or it could be Luke's. Whoever. No matter who they're taking, Robert Smith. When you go to a contest, they'll tell you, "Hey, we took this class, man. We took your class. We really appreciate it. We loved it." And all of a sudden, they're the ones that are walking, and you're sitting back in the background like, "Oh man,
Yeah.
But all they did was they took your tweaks and added to their routine because they were missing something. And then if they're kind enough, sometimes they'll say, "Hey, this is what I did, man. I took what you were doing and I added this, and this to it." Oh, never thought about that. So sometimes you get that kind of feedback, and sometimes they're just like, "It sucks to be you," and then you just walk away and it's your head's down, you tuck in your tail, and you go somewhere else. So. No, the online classes are really good, and I think anybody can do it because you can fast forward, rewind. You can watch it 150 times that day if you want to. At the same time, you take an in-person class, your note-taking skills need to be really on par. And
right,
because if you miss something, you have to ask somebody, and then you got to hope they tell you what it is, or even ask the instructor. Like when I went up there with Tim and Brad. I think it was back in January 22. It's supposed to have been their last competition class. And I just had my back surgery over Thanksgiving and flew up there and hung out with them. And me and Tim hung out. And it's like, I got to see the farm and the ranch and see his cattle and everything, talk about his tractor, and drank my first Natty Light that weekend. It was like, it was freezing before I got like the second drink, it was already frozen. It was cold outside, So my kind of weather, his kind of weather, but we got to talk about those things. And unless you have an instructor that really wants to give you the honest feedback, if you miss a note, you're screwed. So the online class really, in my opinion, it's a better venue to an extent because you can always go back and you can hear that word over and over and over again.
Right. AJ, have you ever taken any online classes?
No, I haven't. I haven't taken any online classes. Just been guys around here that done well. Like Aaron said, you ask them at a contest, need some help with this and that, and they pretty much give you a class without paying for it. So, that's just true friendship.
For sure. No, I'll tell you what. I took Bill's class on a recommendation from a friend of mine, and I mean just the techniques. It's nice because I've gone to a lot of I've gone to Joe Pierce's class. I've gone to the Atlanta Barbecue Supply Store class, which is fantastic because they have a lot of heavy hitters there. And like you said, like when you're taking an in-person class, it's good, but because you're getting to actually see what they're doing and like taste their food and feel the the tenderness and stuff like that. But online classes, like if someone takes your online class, literally rewind or rewatch your chicken trimming or your injection stuff like 15,000 times until they know it like the back of their hand. And I think online classes is the next level, the next step for
well, you don't have to purchase the whole class, right? I mean, if you just need help, you said earlier behind the scenes we're talking about ribs.
Mm-hmm.
Man, just go buy your rib class.
Right.
I mean, that's a small amount of money. It's an entry fee, and it's an entry fee, and it's a small amount of money. But you're going to get some advice from somebody. But you may take 3 rib classes online. I mean, just because you're looking for the wham bam, thank you ma'am of ribs. And if you can put mine and Bill and Robert Smith or Sterling, or you could put, any one of those guys that's doing that class, you put those ribs together. I mean, you may spend what you might spend on if that's your meat that you're needing help with, you may put together $700 worth of classes in 3 or 4 classes.
Yeah.
The cost of one person's class. But all you needed was ribs. Man, you're going to have so much information and so many techniques that all of a sudden, all your rib scores pick up, but guess what happens? The rest of that shit falls off, You're like, fuck. Chicken done hit the shit, and next thing you know, the brisket's all the breast about in the pasture still moving. And I mean, those are the kind of things you have to watch out for. But online classes, you can pick and choose what you want to see, and you can buy as much as you want, and you didn't have to leave your house.
Right. I'll be honest. I was pretty skeptical on the front of it. It was like anything new. I was kind of skeptical, but I mean, once I did it, I mean, I'm going to buy more. I'm going to buy yours. I want to, I'm going to try to get as much information as I can. I mean, I always try to shig as much as I can, anyways. But now I'm paying for it, so I don't feel guilty about it.
There you go.
And that's the thing is that we're always in your back pocket, right? So that's the one thing about an online class. You have a private Facebook page, and you can, only the people that took your class, the whole class, not a rib class, not a brisket class, but you have to sign up for the whole access class, right? But when you do that, like you said, you took Bill's. So you can get on Bill's Facebook page and you can write a message out there and you will have all the answers that you need that somebody is doing. And that's the best thing is you're networking. You're networking with different people's answers, the same as mine or the same as somebody else's. So you get that one-on-one contact, but you're getting it with like 50, 60, 70 other guys. Whoever wants to chime in. The only ones that want to chime in and want to help out. So I think online classes are the way to go because we can reach out to so many people. A guy in Australia can be watching it, a guy in New Zealand can be watching it, and a guy over here in China can be watching it. The same with a guy in Houston or Midland can be watching it. So, I mean, it just allows you to reach the whole world. And are you going to get those guys from overseas or across the pond to come over here and take a class? Probably not. But they can do that download every day of the week, and you're reaching people that want help.
Right. Absolutely.
Right. Yeah. So, man, we're talking about, getting classes, trying to get better. If you had one piece of advice for a newcomer just starting out, what would it be?
A newcomer starting out, go find you a contest, whatever your state is, and go ask the judge. That's the first thing you should do. A lot of guys are going to go spend the money. They're going to spend the money. They're going to go out there and they're going to buy the grills, going to buy the drums, buy the offset. They're going to get the trailer. They're going to put $20,000-$25,000 into this competition rig. If you are a guy who doesn't worry about pinching pennies, right? So some guys are just like, hey, I got a couple of cans and I got a truck and a canopy. I'm gonna go cook, and that's good. Okay, but the first thing to do is just go judge. Just go to a contest and go judge it. That's it. Just go judge a 3-meat contest or a 4-meat backyard, whatever it is, whatever is available in your area, and just see what the hell's coming across the table. Because I don't even know. I've never judged one. I'll be honest with you. I've never judged. I'm giving you advice that I don't even take for myself. But I will say this. Our contests are so few and far out here that I had a hard time. And so when you're with the family, you're going for a vacation. I did not do that. But as a guy who kind of, when I did catch on and I started doing well, I didn't think I needed to. Okay. But then what I did is, this is 16, 17, 18. I'd have to go judge it because you had all the boxes in the back. And I could go through and taste the top 10 boxes of every table.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was my judging experience. So they had the top 10 in chicken, top 10 in ribs, top 10 in brisket. Okay. And that was a 3-meat for depending on what organization you were cooking in. So when it got done, they're all sitting here and they all have a number on it. That was number 1. It was number 19 or number 110. That was the final table. It was 9th place, 8th place, 7th place. So I could taste that. And that's what I did. That's instead of judging, because I didn't know at the time you need to go judge a contest. This is pre-information, right? This go judge a contest is like kind of 2000 on up, 2020 on up, where people are kind of say that. But we got to go back there and actually go to the judging area, and first place brisket was right there. And if there was any left, you took a bite of it. Okay. Because that you could see what that profile was, right? And so that's what I did. I didn't judge the event. I tasted the top 3 boxes, the top 10 boxes on the tables. And that's how I learned my profiles. Like, oh, that's that's bad. No, But I learned from that way, and that's kind of technically judging, but yet you're not writing a score down.
There you go.
I would say go judge one.
You ever taste somebody's brisket, you're like, damn, that's good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, I've tasted briskets to this day that I still think are good. I mean, like, hey man, I'll tell you what, and you know how we are. We're superstitious. We never want to say, dude, that's the best thing I ever tasted, or that's a walk-in brisket, that's a walk-in box. But there are, and sometimes you do have an aftertaste. And I will tell you, if you come up to me and you say, Aaron, taste my rib, I'm probably going to huff because I don't eat very much. And so it's like it's barbecue, right? And it's okay, yeah. But I mean, out of the kindness of my heart, I will take that bite, and I will say that. But then if I will give you my honest opinion, and I need you to be able to accept my honest opinion. And if there's an aftertaste, or if there is a hint of flavor that I'm not catching on, or I may be like, ooh, a little cinnamon in there, So I will say stuff out loud, but I will give you my honest opinion of how that tasted. And that might give you some advice back because it's an actual verbal advice from someone who does cook. But that's my taste buds, not the judges.
No, I mean, we talked about this before, though, man. I love constructive criticism. Like, if I ask somebody, I don't want some. I mean, we all hear, hey, man, that's really good, or blah, blah, blah. But, like, when I give something to a cook or, like, a fellow cook, like, I want them to be like, I mean, it's a little peppery. It's a little this, it's a little that.
Absolutely.
And, like, I mean, that's what people like. I feel like some people are scared, like, to hurt your feelings, but like that's what I'm after. That's what I'm asking. I'm not looking for a pat on the back. I want to, hey, do this to make it better. And I'm like, because otherwise you're not going to grow.
Oh yeah.
If you walk across the parking lot to give me a rib or a brisket or a bite of your chicken, then you took your time out of your day to come over to me and say, hey, and do that, or vice versa. But at the same time, if you bring me something of mine, I mean, of yours to me, I'm going to give you some. I'm going to give you a taste of mine, and let you give me the same thing. Right. A lot of guys think, God dang, that's so good. I didn't ask for it to be good. I mean, you want an honest opinion, but is that your honest opinion? Because sometimes my shit ain't the best either.
Right.
I mean, you might have had an off day, or just something wasn't working right. But I just, I will. I say go judge, and then get your stuff together. Do a couple of contests, kind of get the lay of the land, see what the turn-in times are, and just kind of figure it out a little bit, kind of dance around the coals some, and then go take a class.
Yeah, for sure.
Just jump right into it. Shave that 4-year trial and error off of it, going broke, and then try to make a little money back, pretty quick. So most classes that you take, and I would say there's probably not a bad class out there that I have ever taken. I mean, I have taken The first class I ever took was that DVD class from Cosmo, okay, from Darien. The second one I took was Travis Clark before I went to the 2016 American Royal. I took that that very first time, and I think I hit a sixth place rib in the Open, and I was a half a point away from a 180. And old Travis got first place ribs that year. And I just kind of shook his hand. I said, you got me. He goes, you weren't good enough. I was like, yeah, okay. It's all good. What do you, I mean, you can expect that from Travis. He's a very blunt guy. So, and then I've taken Fred Rovis's class. I took Arnie Segovia's class. I've taken Clarence Joseph, one of the top Texas pickmasters, legend in the state. One of the guys that helped take my brisket game to a whole nother level back in 2017, and I haven't looked back since. I've taken his, and I just recently took Phil Breeden's, LC Barbecue. I took it back in, I think it was January or I think it's February. So I try to take one every couple of years, no matter what. But I tell anyone, get 4 or 5 contests under your belt, just go experience it, fill it out, just kind of see if it's what you want to do or not, and then go find you a good class.
Right.
That's definitely something that I might look into doing, maybe table captain, and just try to see, get your scores. You got an 8 in taste. What makes that a 9 to the judges? Like, what are they looking for? What does that pop? Kind of help. Try to help me out a little bit.
I need all the help I can get. Shit.
Come on with me.
I tell you, you got some table captains out there, some experienced KCBS judges that will give you some of the best feedback and dissect your scores in KCBS that I didn't know that they could really do that. And they've been doing it for so long. They can just pretty much tell you where to stay, where to cook, and what your numbers are, So those are the guys that you want to be friends with, and you want to learn who they are, because they can help you and lead you and guide you a little bit as far as what your scores look like. They can't tell you what your barbecue is because they're obviously not eating it, but they can look at the numbers and kind of give you you need to do this or work on this and see some pictures. But it's man, you gotta get out there and do it. And then I tell everybody, if say you are from a small town and within 100-mile radius, you usually have about a contest every month. Man, stay in that 100-mile radius, that 150, whatever the area is in your area, stay in that area and get used to your profile, get used to your flavors, right? Learn how to get consistent at getting those walks. And then once you start getting those couple of those GCs, RGCs, top 5s all the time, and you're pretty consistent, year and a half, 2 years go in, then start branching that mileage, hitting that distant area out a little bit. Maybe hit 200 miles, 250. And just because once you get outside that area, you're going to find out real quick, you're probably going to stay in your chair for a while. And you might not. Who knows? But that's what I was told. It was some advice I was given in 2017 by J.D. Henley. And, he's like, look, man, you're doing really good in West Texas. And you're getting those wins, those top 5s all the time. You're making some money. He said, but you won't know what kind of cook you are until you leave West Texas. You're going to have to get out of West Texas and go find out. So that meant driving. West Texas is about a 5-hour drive, north, south, east, and west. Well, north, south, and west, and east about 2.5 hours. So it's a big area to cover. So when I started traveling east 5-6 hours, and that's when I started realizing that I'm good where I'm at, but I don't know these flavors out here. So I had to start playing the wizard a little bit and trying to figure out, how do we tweak these up? So it took me a couple of years to start figuring something out. And then eventually it just kind of, things kind of smoothed out a little bit. And I wasn't as determined. I was more determined than ever, but I wasn't as, I want to quit cooking today as bad. Those Sunday drives suck coming home when you don't do very good. So when you got 6 or 7 hours behind the windshield, that's just, it kind of sucks, but just learn your area, and then branch out a little bit and start trying to figure out some new flavors. Yeah.
So, man, I'm gonna switch the gears a little bit, man. I just want to ask you a question. One of my favorite questions we ask on the show. So what is the worst thing that you turned in and made the best of it? Like the just worst protein you turned in and got a call?
So Laredo, Texas, 2016. I was sitting across from Johnny Trigg. And I made a bet with Johnny that day. I said, Johnny, let's make a bet. I said, let's see who takes more photos. The people walking into my trailer taking pictures of my barbecue trailer. I built my barbecue, my porch trailer. I bought a shell, but I completely wooded out the whole inside, custom cabinets, all wood. stove, bed, bathroom, had a horse trough for a shower. I mean, it was really a neat trailer. And people were going up one side of my porch and down the other. They were taking photos and pictures, and everybody else was going over to Johnny and taking pictures, like getting an autograph and taking photos, So we were laughing. And I said, "Hey, Johnny, you know what? Let's see who has more pictures at the end of the night." And I smelt my ribs. Now, granted, this is 9 o'clock at night. I'm in Laredo, Texas, and there's not much place to go get more ribs. But I had trimmed them up on a Tuesday, and here we are Friday night, and they had turned.
Oh,
you know how that rib gets that little soury smell to it.
Oh yeah,
it's almost there, but it's not quite. I didn't have a choice. I thought, well, maybe I'll rinse them off, and when you can rinse a rib off and let it air out just a little bit, it usually goes away. It's just the juices, right?
Right.
I cooked that rib the next day, and I'm gonna kid you not, dude. I could taste it. I could taste it. It was 100. There was 100 and. There was 100 plus teams there. I'm not sure what the team count was. I was 14th.
Damn.
And I couldn't believe. I was like, well, it makes you wonder what they eat down here. But I think with that, just having one bite, it wasn't enough time for that little bit of that taste to kind of come out. I may have fucked the guy behind me. I don't know about that one,
That's
that guy
problem,
might have been like shit in
problem.
bed, DLL. He could be dead ass last for all I know. But my rib got like 14th or 15th, and I was like, wow, okay, that's my worst protein of the day, and it was my best call. So that's happened before. And
that's how it always works. That's how it always works, though, man. That's how it always works.
Yeah.
That's why you cut the fat out of your brisket, because sometimes when you wet age those some bitches, you can taste that fat. It's skanky. It's real skunky. It's kind of bad.
Hey, man. That little funk, man. They like that funk. I turned in a trash can pork before and won with it, so I can't say nothing.
There you go.
Another thing we like to always ask our guests is, are you a music guy in your trailer? You like what's on the Texas Old Dust playlist?
Man, okay, so I used to be a Sirius XM guy. Gotta hit the bartender real quick, guys. You're just gonna have to give me just a second.
There you go.
Gotta get 9 out of it. So I have a speaker. So I use a horse trailer, right? I got a 40-foot horse trailer that has my Jambo in the back, and right now it's at the shop. I got a hailstorm after the Royal this year, and they're trying to fix it. But I have a speaker inside there, and but I was a Sirius XM guy, so I would turn Sirius XM on, and that's what I would listen to, and mostly country. I would flip it up, and I'd kind of hit the button and kind of play a little rock and a little old school 80s, 90s heavy metal, hair music, that kind of stuff. But I'm pretty much a country guy, and new age, all that stuff. I just couldn't listen to that.
Are you a Texas country guy?
I'm just country, man. It doesn't matter if it's Texas country.
Casey Donahue and
lay it on me. I don't care.
Morgan
Wallen to George Strait to Hank Williams to little bit of my old little Willie Nelson. I'm
Willie, man. I tell you what, I wouldn't pass weed with Willie ever. That's all I'm talking about. Jesus understand. Jesus understand that one.
Little Coy Wetzel, put him on there, man. I don't care, dude. Let's get rock. But I don't play my music loud to where it pisses the neighbors off, because that speaker I have in there is it'll thump the trailer, right? And so it can rattle the trim. But I don't play it so loud that I want everybody outside to hear it. I want to make it so I can think, and I keep my head from talking back to me sometimes. At the same time, you kind of move on. I got into audiobooks back at 16, 17 pretty hard, maybe 18. And I got to where I started listening to those audiobooks. And are you an audiobooks guys? Y'all ever listen to novels?
Yeah, I do sometimes. I mean, mainly like 50 Shades of Grey and 50 Shades of Grayer and all that stuff.
Oh, man. I don't think your audiobook is
my trailer. Like, he's
role playing. No, come on.
It gets lonely in that trailer, man. It gets lonely.
I got into a series of audiobooks, and I want to say I think it was Harry Potter. I've always watched the shows with my kids when we were young, and I just loved Harry Potter. But I got into that whole series, listened to the whole series in like 3 weeks of driving, just the hours of driving, competition, and I would get to where I was audio booking so much, I was forgetting to cook. I mean, I was sitting down, and I'm like 7 chapters later, I'm like, oh shit, my ribs, and then I go jump on there. So I had to put the audio books away because I was getting into the book itself, and then so I was like, it helped me tremendously. It really did. And so I just started going back to the music. So I'm just more of a Texas country, hair metal, 80s, 90s, little old school rap. I kind of just flipped the playlist, and now I'm on Pandora because I refuse to pay for Sirius XM. So I will pinch the penny off of Lincoln in a heartbeat, but I will also buy a lot of shit. So
yeah.
That's what I do.
Are you a podcast guy? You like listen to podcasts or just not really?
Say that again now.
So are you a podcast fan or just mainly the audiobooks or music?
When I'm driving and I'm hitting the road, I do 2 things. I either Netflix. I mean, I'm telling you what, when my truck leaves my house, within 30 minutes, I have a movie on. And I put my phone on my dash where the speedometer is, and I point it out. I point it whichever way, and I Netflix, and I will pick a movie, and I will watch it all the way there. When the movie goes up, or if I can't get there, then I will podcast. So I will just pick up different ones. I've listened to Alonzo's. I've listened to Bill's. I will go back if I missed an episode of Robert Roach's on the So Smoking Gooder show. I try to, and that takes up your time because that's 4 or 5 hours, man. It's you got 2 or 3 casts in there, and you kind of listen to it, and then it's time for something else. So that, but yeah, that's my only time is when I podcast and when I'm driving, or if I'm watching movies.
I'm obsessed with podcasts, man. That's about all I listen to nowadays. I think I just love hearing people talk. I just love
I do. I love the noise, right? The voices.
Yeah,
back
white
and forth.
noise. Yeah. Except for when AJ talks and I listen to our show and I'm just like, oh God, shut up.
Hater.
I love podcasts, man. There's all kinds of different ones out there. A lot of guys that are doing stuff, but like on Saturdays or Sundays, I will watch the awards from other contests.
Yeah.
That I didn't get to didn't see, right? Because I want to hear the noise. I want to hear the people talking. But I can tell you on Sundays if I haven't seen an award or there's one that I'm really not that I don't have any friends or barbecue family that are sitting there into, man, I've already got a movie on and I'm Netflixing all the way home.
I tell you what,
that's because the sun is going down the other way. So
since we've done this show, like every guest I have, I follow them pretty steadily now. So every like all your pages and stuff. So anytime awards, I'm always like, hey, there's Aaron, or hey, there's Bill, or hey, there's Fred, or any of the guys. I always follow everybody now. So I'm watching award shows all the time now. On Saturdays, it's all I watch podcasts and award shows. But
for sure,
no.
If I'm not cooking, which is very rarely, like last year, probably 2 or 3 weekends I didn't cook. I will, as soon as 4 o'clock hits, I'm in my recliner or wherever I'm at. I got my earbuds in. I was at my niece's wedding or my nephew's wedding. That's one that I missed this past year. And damn, if I didn't watch the awards with my earbuds in I waited for after the wedding, right? So now we're in the reception and all this stuff. I was like walking around like, hey, what's Aaron doing? He just kind of dazing around. I wasn't dazing. I was staring at the wall, but I was imagining what was going on, right? So, I want to, but I also have friends there. So my friends would come to the wedding and so the family's like, hey, what's going on? I said, oh, so-and-so just got something walk, and
right.
So that's kind of me. I mean, I'm if I'm not competing, I'm listening to the awards because I want to cheer and support the people that are getting those walks. Even though they can't hear me, I still get to cheer them on and support them a little bit. So it makes me happy, it makes you feel like you're still there, but you're still taking care of the other business.
Amen.
Sure.
Amen.
Man, we're gonna ask you this question right here, man. This another one of our favorites. When you think about barbecue success, who is on your Mount Rushmore?
Oh, so you guys have Mount Rushmore too, huh? Okay.
Meat Rushmore. We have Meat Rushmore.
Meat Rushmore.
Yeah, Meatmore. Okay. Yeah, my bad. I'm sorry about that.
No, you're good, man. That's Robert Rocha has a Mount Rushmore, and I did one. I think it was probably late last year, early last year. But I got some very good friends here in West Texas. I got some friends that, man, I'll travel as far as they want to travel. If they want to jump in the truck or they need some help, they're there. So 3 of those guys are going to be Tommy Smith, Chuck Long, and Paul Whitaker. Those are my homies. Those guys are, they're legit. They're the people that I count on the most, and they're my truest friends, and I love them to death. And but Clarence Joseph is one of the guys to me that, and this is now, there are people that you want to meet or you want to talk to, that you hold at a higher standard, right? But when you talk about barbecue success, those three guys I named off, they bounced shit off of me just as much as I bounced stuff off of them. And they supported me when I was starting out, and I supported them when they were getting started. And when they get in a slump, I helped them. They got in a slump, they helped me. So to me, you can't choose that kind of friendship. It finds you. It lands in your lap, and you connected from the get-go. But Clarence Joseph, as far as the guy outside of my little circle there, that guy he is a wealth of knowledge. He's big into YouTube right now. He's kind of stopped competing. He's got his own channel, Mom and Papa Joe's, but he is one of those guys that he just hit me in a certain way, in a certain level that I just couldn't shake a stick at more than, and drive him off. He just is right there. He's part of me, and I owe a lot of things to him for some things that he taught me back a long time ago. And, I called him up on a Saturday afternoon or I think it was Friday morning and said, hey, I'm going to be in Dallas, Fort Worth. Do you mind if I drive down and caught a class with you and we do a private class tomorrow night? And he's like, yeah, let's do it. So it was that kind of thing. I got to know him and be around him. And so that's my four people that are going to be, they're going to be on my list. It's Chuck Long, Tommy Smith, Paul Whitaker. Those are my three homies. And then, you got Clarence Joseph. So I think if I go to battle, those are four good guys to go to battle with.
Yes, sir.
No, man, that's solid, man. So now, man, it's that time, AJ, man. It's barbecue supply lightning round, man, where we ask you some questions, just some quick hitters, man. Don't think about them too hard, and just tell me what you think. You ready for it?
And spit it out.
I said to somebody. No, what's your?
No, you said swallow.
So, yeah, that's all like that.
We are not PG-13.
Hold on. Anyways, take two. No, man. Aaron, what's your favorite thing to cook at home?
Wings.
Big Bob Gibson wings, man. If you're ever in Alabama, you gotta pick them out, man. Favorite category to cook? I think I know this one.
That's gonna be brisket.
Nah, shocker. You know a thing or two about it. What's one thing you always have in your trailer and you can't say your thermopin?
One thing I always have in my trailer. Man. Well. Oh. Well. Yeah, you did. You stumped me there. I mean, because I would say my seasonings, right? But that's a no-brainer. So something, and I'm assuming you're thinking something that is just kind of out of the ordinary and going. But man, I'm gonna tell you what. Probably my grilling screens, the screens that I put my meats on.
Oh man, can't beat them, man. Pizza screens.
No, grilling screens. I don't use pizza screens.
See, you're fancy.
I'm square.
There you
go. What is one thing that you know now that you wish you knew at the beginning of your career?
Have a big checkbook.
I wish I knew that now.
Be rich.
I still wish I knew that now.
Stay fishing. I don't know, man.
Yeah, so I know, talking to all of your Texas brethren, that you cook CBA, so you have a walk-up song. So what is your walk-up song?
Red Solo Cup.
Red Solo Cup, man.
Right. I was disappointed because I'm using my. I stopped and got a burger. I didn't have my Red Solo Cup because my trailer, and I didn't have any here at the warehouse. So.
Man. Well, R.I.P. Toby Keith, man.
Yes, that's my man right there.
Amen, brother. What is your favorite barbecue restaurant in Texas?
Well, I've only eaten at 3. Okay, besides of mine, and it's the burnt bean.
Oh, 4 for 4, man.
It's a clean sweep, everybody. It's a clean
I'm
sweep.
Tell you what,
is the greatest
Ernie's doing shit over there that ain't nobody else doing. If they are, I haven't ate there, but I don't eat barbecue, man. I live this thing 7 days a week.
We don't either, but you know what? I'm going to eat Ernie's.
Oh yeah, that's the first one I'm going to.
I love Ernie. He and I have been friends for a very long time, and he has helped me tremendously. But I will go to Ernie's for breakfast on Sunday mornings. That's if I'm. I don't need lunch. He has a phenomenal menu. Okay, but the Casanova, man, the huevos rancheros with brisket, I mean, in barbacoa, it's that to me, it's got it. And his carne asada is banging, but it's just I tell you, man, he's got a hell of a breakfast, and that's my time to eat. My breakfast is my breakfast, so I want something different, but at the same time, he lays it down. He lays it down.
And that is a clean sweep of all we've had some monster pit masters from Texas, and every single one, shout out Ernest.
Take this from a guy. I'm telling you, if we went to Dallas Fort Worth, you say, "Hey, I want to go to eat barbecue," I'd be like, oh. I'm honestly, I'm like, can we go to Buffalo Wild Wings, or can we go to Twin Peaks or something? Because I'm a wings and beer guy. Okay. I don't eat much. I mean, I can eat 4 wings and drink 3 beers. I'm stuffed. Period.
They sell wings at Twin Peaks.
At Twin Peaks, I heard it.
I didn't know they sell food there.
Coldest beer, they say, but no, but you said let's go eat at Ernie's. I'm in. I won't bat an eye. I'm in for Ernie's. I don't care.
That's funny, man. It's crazy. I would have thought, I mean, I know Ernest. I've reached out to Ernest, tough man to get hold of. But I'd love to have him on the show sometime. But man, he's on he was on my list to go to, but now he's at the top of the list.
Top of the list, 100%.
100%. All right, AJ, when we go to Texas, we're going there. Wait, we're gonna do lunch and we're gonna do breakfast and lunch there.
Dude, breakfast, lunch, dinner,
we're gonna do one tour. We're gonna do one tour.
Just destroy it, man. If I go, it's as I said, if I stop in, man, you got a certain time for certain things, but he's got some flavors that's going on. That's just he's the man. He's the man.
Fair enough. All right, man. Last question. It's always my favorite to ask people that have their own rubs. Out of all your rubs, what is your best?
Well, my favorite is my Oil Dust. My favorite's my Oil Dust, 100%. But I'm probably going to say the Wildcatter is my best rub.
Fair enough, man.
It's that smooth garlic that just goes with everything from top to bottom, left to right, and even in the center. Man, you put it on it. If it tastes bad, it's gonna taste good when you get done with that Wildcatter. But the Oil Dust is my go-to. It's my OG, and I'm gonna take it to my grave. So you can when I get buried and cremated or whatever it is, I just want a bottle of that shit right there with me.
Okay,
we'll put your ashes in a bottle, man, right there, and the bottle of Texas Oil Dust. There I'll
put it right there on the shelf next to my dad over there.
There you go, man. All right, brother, man. Aaron, thank you so much for coming on the show, man. You are wrap up our Texas month. I mean, we have had some big ones, but you are one of the best. So I sure do appreciate you coming on the show, man. Tell everybody where they can find you. Tell them about your what you got going on over there at Texas Oil Dust, and if you have any sponsors you want to give a shout out to, let's hear it.
Man, yeah. So you can you look us up at TexasOilDust.com. We got a good website, pretty easy to maneuver around. Everything gets shipped out same day. So if you order on a Saturday, don't get upset. It'll get shipped on Monday. If you think we're here till 9:00 at night shipping your orders out on Saturdays, you're wrong. But no, man, we're just a little small town, Midland, Texas. Look us up. Half Acre Barbecue Restaurant. Man, my good friend John Scarber, Midland Beef Company. I can't beat him. Got the best beef, Wagyu beef, and Texas Oil Dust, Vac Master. We use Vac Master. We use all their products. VP 95. I've got the Pro 360 over there. The Vac Master group. Solid guys. Barbecue Champs Academy. Check us out. Go there and check out. Get a class, man. Learn something new and new technique on something. It ain't gotta be mine, man. Just get a class. It doesn't have to be mine. Just be somebody's, just to kind of help you out if you're in a slump. I'm probably gonna be missing somebody. All I can say is, trust the dust and let's start getting paid walking last. Is all I can say.
That's right, man. That's right. Well, man, I sure do appreciate it, brother. Man, thank you for coming on the show. I truly appreciate it. I can't wait to follow you this year and see your name call. If you can make it to the Jack, you gotta let me know, man. We'll hang out.
Man, I got a good chance. I mean, we'll see what happens.
You got a better chance than I do.
This is the only thing. This is the only thing to get in your way.
That's right, man. Well, hey, if we hang out, man, I want to try some of that famous brisket. All right. Fair enough.
Let me know. I'll send you one. I mean, it depends on which one you're wanting. If you want one in the competition or you want one from the restaurant, that's a whole different story. So.
Amen, brother. All right, big guy. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight, man. As always, man, I appreciate it.
Yes,
appreciate it, guys. Peace out.
We'll see you, brother.
All right, AJ, man. We are wrapped up Texas month, man.
There you go. Man, there's been some heavy hitters, man.
God, I want brisket now.
Definitely. Look, we gotta make a trip out there. We gotta make a trip out there next year. Like, we gotta go cook a CBA.
I want to do a right on cue retreat. I wonder if I can write that off on my taxes.
Hey, yeah, let's do that.
Cook We're gonna do market research.
And then just eat all kind of barbecue while we're down there.
I'm down, man. And I hate barbecue, but you know what? I'm going to eat barbecue down there.
That's right.
I'm going to, and we're going to earn this. I mean, we're going for breakfast. I mean, that's there's zero chance I miss that. I mean, if all these guys, I trust them. Yeah, take to the grave. But no, man. So you want to tell them what we got going on next month, man? It's a new month, so it's like any church you go to, it's a new series.
That's right. So next month, man, we got some superstars coming, man. Superstar month.
Champions month, man. World champions. Everyone that comes on here has been a world champion.
Yes,
starting us off, we have the wonderful fellow Tennessean, Miss Sunny Moody. Sunny Moody is going to be on our show. Oh man, she's awesome, dude. I met her at the Missouri indoor comp, and she was a sweetheart. But no, hey, also a friend of the show. He's been one of our guests. Mr. Bob Tredneck is going to be our co-host. Nice. Yes, sir, man. Bobby T is going to be coming on there and hanging out with yes, sir. Me, you, or Houston, and Bobby T and Miss Sunny. So it's going to be a good one. We got some really heavy hitters coming up this month, so stay tuned. And we may do a giveaway or two. Who knows?
There you go.
All right, man. AJ, you got anything you want to say?
Man, hey, y'all just keep your head up. Keep on kicking. Let's enjoy barbecue, man.
Keep on keeping on. Get her done.
Get her done.
All right, guys, man. Well, as always, when it comes to barbecue, make sure you're always right on cue. See you guys.
That's all, folks.